Hey guys, I've just played one of the most nerve-wracking games in my life that was decided in a crazy time trouble. A very beautiful game from both sides, lots of sacrifices, lots of tactics. Check it out. Definitely do not click close. Watch this till the end and you will not be disappointed. So my opponent is a strong junior player from Kazakhstan, Bayantas Osman. He's a FIDE master at quite a young age, and we are playing in Oskemen Open, round 4 of this tournament. I currently have 2 out of 3 points, so let's dive into this. He went for d4, and I played some King's Indian-esque structure that transformed into a Benoni. So Benoni is when black goes c5 in such positions. King's Indian is when black tries going e5 in such position. But like there is a plan of going rook 8, knight c6, and then e5, or with different move orders. But I prefer playing in the spirit of Benoni here with c5. d5, this is one of the main theoretical tries here for white. Black here usually tries undermining this pawn chain because this is logical. And there are some crazy lines here, for example, when takes, and knight g5, attacking this bishop, black can sacrifice a rook on a8, and there is some theory. It's not good to take. Black is close to winning in some of those lines. So you should study this line if you want to play this. But he did not take. Instead, he went for castles. We traded the pawns. I went rook 8. He went rook e1. This is all theory. And I went a6 here. And a4 obviously is intended to prevent b5, because otherwise I was trying to go b5 before to open potentially this diagonal for the bishop. If you have a dark squared bishop on g7 with black, it's generally a good idea to push a b pawn, put the rook on the b file, and put pressure on the b2 square. So that's the meta in such positions. But he obviously prevents this, a4. He's an experienced player, even though of young age. Knight d7 and bishop f4. And here I forgot my prep. So the theory here is, and what I should have played is knight g4 with a complex struggle. Also queen c7 is perfectly normal. But instead, here I already was playing on my own, and I came up with the knight h5 move, which is also, by the way, one of the top engine lines. The idea is that I'm attacking the bishop, and he cannot really take this pawn, because I'll go queen b6, attacking the bishop, and the bishop has no squares. If it drops back, then I'll spoil his pawn structure. I will have an uncontested dark squared bishop, and also I'll take his b2 pawn, and I'm already like dominating. The engine says black is winning already, even though theoretically the material is equal. So of course he's not taking on d6. He realizes that the bishop is hanging, so he goes bishop g5, attacking the queen. Now we are both out of prep. I go queen a5 here, because of course my queen was hanging. Another option here was, instead of moving the queen, was to move back the knight. Was best according to the engine, but I did not want to pin myself, so I went queen e5. Also a good move. And bishop d2. He went back. Now there are some threats like knight b5, attacking the queen. The queen can be subject to a nasty discovered attack, so I should move it away from the x-ray, which I do, queen c7. And here he went a little bit crazy. He went g4, which is like obviously a bad move. If you understand something about chess, you realize it's a bad move. You should not do this. Like your pawn on g3 is perfect. You should play e4, for example. You can try playing for f4 and e5 in some options. You can go a5 to take some space on the queen side. The engine likes also rook c1 or h3. Those are normal moves. But g4 is like, I immediately realized that he's moving in the wrong direction. Now black is a little bit better because I drop back, taking the pawn. He goes h3, and now black is a little bit better if black plays c4. I was like eyeing those ideas. I was thinking of playing c4, but I did not I did not know, obviously, the engine line, and the engine really wants me to put the knight on c5. I thought that I will eventually do this, but first I'll go rook b8, push b5. Again, I was telling you about this bishop and this diagonal. You will see it will play an important role later on. So first I went rook b8. I decided to go rook b8, and then later on I wanted to go b5, b4, and c4 as well, and knight c5. Those were my ideas. He goes e4. I go b5, takes, and now he comes up with a really creative plan, e5. Well, the engine says it's better to go bishop f1 because the bishop is not good here. It's looking at its own colleagues on this big diagonal, so rotating the bishop is logical. And if I go b4, then the c4 square could be perfect for the bishop potentially. And knight b5 is nice here, and black can second exchange. This is the engine line. Interesting stuff. Rook e4 comes next. But instead of this, he decided, instead of this maneuver, he decided to sack a pawn, which is the second best move according to the engine. So this is a thematic pawn break. We trade everything here. And now I'm up on pawn. But you see, this bishop now is active, and potentially when he pushes d6, it's a very menacing bishop that's dominating the long diagonal. Also, he has a passed pawn, which is a very dangerous one, very dangerous weapon. Here he finds bishop e3, putting pressure here. And the problem is that he wants to just push d6, sorry, and knight d5 is coming. Also, he wants to push g5, and once my knight goes back, no matter where, he has knight e4, a great position for the knight. And here I enter a deep think, and I come up with, in my opinion, a brilliant idea. So first I block the pawn, not allowing him to go d6 and open up his bishop. Now his bishop is still stuck behind the pawn. And once he goes g5, which is a logical move, so if I retreat, he has, for example, like knight e8, knight e4, and white is very much pressing, winning the c5 pawn, then going d6, not good. But instead of this, I was not intending to drop back. I was intending to sack a piece b4, and he was surprised when he saw this because he clearly did not expect this. So the line that I spent more than 10 minutes calculating all the intricacies. The line was takes. Now his rook is hanging, and the rook has to stay guarding the queen in square. So rook b1, and then bishop f5. And I was calculating various lines after this, and I realized that even though in future he will have two bishops for a rook, my pawns are so menacing and they are marching down the c and b files, and he cannot stop them. And actually it's lost for white. So he realized this also. And I calculated this, by the way, when I went queen d6. So this is the line, the resource I'm proud of finding. Not obvious. My opponent missed this initially. So g5 before. And he realized that he cannot go for this line. I initially from afar thought that knight a4 or knight e4 would be possible, but I missed his resource. Knight b5, very beautiful. I missed this. I'll say it honestly. Very, very nice idea. So I'll still have to take his knight, but the difference is that my pawn is not here and it doesn't have the opportunity to come closer to queen, and he is taking my knight. And the problem is, so the best move here is bishop f8, but I didn't like the fact that he's infiltrating and I'm under pressure and white is better. But I should have gone for this. But I decided to second exchange. So I took here and I calculated that he has this move, spinning me and attacking me. And after rook b8, which is the most logical response, he has bishop c5, a deflection. My queen is overloaded. It's guarding c5 and it's guarding its own rook. And I calculated this in advance that I'm just giving up the rook for the bishop and then going king g7. And that was the position that was in my mind. White has a rook and a bishop. And I have two bishops and a pawn in return. So usually two bishops and a pawn are enough compensation for a rook, a bishop, and a pawn. So I thought that I have some counterplay. Also, his king is weak. But the problem is his d-pawn. It's very, very far advanced, and it's a passed pawn. So that's why he is better with precise play. But we were already nearing time trouble. And here's where the fun started. So he goes d6, pushes the pawn. He wants to go d7, obviously. I have to go for counterplay. I go bishop h4. And the problem is that I'm attacking this pawn. And if he goes d7, for example, I'll take here. And if he goes here, I'll take here. And if he takes my bishop, I go here. And if he goes here, this is checkmate. So he cannot really push his pawn further. He has to do something. So d7, he's losing for white. He has to do something about the f2 pawn. It's attacked twice. What does he do? He goes queen d2, overprotecting it, and also threatening to take this pawn. But he's really not threatening to take this pawn, because now I go e4, which is a nice resource. And if he takes rook b4, for example, I again have bishop f2. And if he takes, I'll take the rook. So that's a problem. And if he doesn't take, I have a deadly attack. So he's not taking on b4. Instead, he decides to go queen e3, trying to trade the queens, which is a good idea, but I have queen c2. And now I want to infiltrate like this or like this with checks and create again a nasty attack on his king. He goes takes, I check him. Now he should have played something else. He should have played bishop f1, where he's better. But bishop e4 leads to an equal position, because I check him. And now I find bishop a6, a move that he admitted to me that he missed. And there are ideas of checks like this, and it's very, very hard for white to play. Actually, like, there are only two moves that hold equality. d7 is one of them. And here I could have gone for check, check, that's what I calculated from afar, takes, and queen b5 with a fork. And actually the engine says it's equal, but it's only black who's playing for the win here, because I will be up a pawn in this opposite colored bishop's queen endgame, and his king is weaker, so... but he has queen d3. From afar I missed this, by the way. So I will not be up a pawn. We will have equal material. So yeah, okay, then it's a draw. But from afar I saw this this resource of bishop f1 and then queen d6 with a fork, and I was happy with it. So instead of d7, he definitely saw it as well. He went rook a8, sidestepping the fork. But rook a8 is losing, because I have check and bishop takes f2. And this is a checkmate threat. He has only moved queen g5 to protect from the checkmate. But it's obvious that his king is so wide open that I should have some mating attack. And I have 5 minutes here. He has 1 minute. But the problem is that I just can't find the checkmate. I'm like, where do I like put my pieces? How do I checkmate him? Okay, I find the first move, bishop d4, which is one of the winning moves. The idea is that if he does nothing, like if he pushes d7, for example, I can check him, and then I can check him like this, and then check him like this, and then check him like this, and then checkmate him like this. So this is one of the lines. So another line that is possible here is queen here and bishop here. Really? He can sack the queen here, and it's not so trivial. So interesting. I didn't see this resource. But still, this would have been like only black is playing for a win after d7. But instead of d7, he goes rook a8. He's trying to prevent this bishop e5 idea that I showed you. And now I'm winning very easily. So I first check him. Then I check him again. Then I check him. Then I go h6, which is still winning. One of the ways to win. Then I check him again. And here I have 30 seconds. And I panic. And I do not find the best move. The best move that is winning, the only move that is winning here is queen e3. And he's just lost. But it's hard to find. My grandmaster coach told me after the game that yeah, you should not be too harsh on yourself. Queen e3 is not a trivial find. So the idea is that if he goes d7, which is the only logical move for him, I have this check. Obviously, if he goes here, I have this check, and I'm winning his queen. His king is overloaded. So obviously, queen g3 is losing, so he has to go here. But then I have this check. He has this move, and then I have this check. Nice geometry of the board. And I'm taking his d7 pawn. And he has no more resources of his own. I'm still like enjoying an amazing attack, and he's just with such a weak king and no resources, no passed pawns, he's just lost. His pieces are scattered across the board. For example, bishop here, queen here. Again, I want to check him and to destroy him Like bishop f1 will come next, and yeah, he's not surviving this. So that's what I should have found. This resource here, queen e3, with the idea of this check, and then this check after d7. Not easy to find with 30 seconds. I panic. I'm like, I should be winning. What do I do? And I have 30 seconds, and I make the move with like 6 seconds on my clock. I go queen b5. Queen b5 because I'm attacking the rook, and I also think that if the rook like goes somewhere, then I'll have this check. But unfortunately, this is losing. This is heartbreaking. Rook e7. And suddenly he's threatening queen takes g6 because I cannot take with the pawn because the pawn is pinned. And he's now attacking me and I'm lost. I go bishop e5 check, what I was intending. And then I go king f8, sidestepping. Now he cannot take here. But unfortunately, he has this bishop d5 move. And he's attacking f7. And also he can take my bishop next. I go f5, but he doesn't even take my bishop. He finds a better idea. Check. And now check with a fork. And I lose my queen. And in this position, I resign. He says sorry after the game. But like you remember this ending of the candidates when Nepo told Fabi, I'm sorry, and Fabi responded with, it's my fault. So it's my fault. I blundered in time trouble. I didn't find a win. I could have perpetually checked him, of course. So here I could have perpetually checked him, queen f1, queen f2, and made a draw, but I wanted to play for a win, and I knew I was winning. Sometimes when you play to win, you lose when you risk it, and this is part of chess. I hope this will be a good learning lesson for me, and I hope I can get some more wins in this tournament. Thank you for watching. Please drop a comment if you like this game and the tactics, and see you in the next one.